I've seen guys lose girls so badly and so stupidly by doing that. Okay, and it's like, I cannot believe guys do this, but they do. When you're talking about a situation where you're in direct competition with another guy, that is a very different scenario. That's a temporary, fleeting scenario where the priorities shift, right? So you have your overall making the interaction good, and then you have like a clear and present danger, right? You look at this as like, you have your morals and ethics in life, and then your morals and ethics when you go to war, right? It's a different fucking thing. You have to be a little bit of a different animal in that situation, right? Because there's this clear and present threat that must be dealt with, right? And the question of when do you like let the girl talk to the guy, or when do you even encourage it or something like that? First of all, rarely with the encouraging. So this is a funny thing. So you can get away with it and it can work sometimes, but you're really, really playing with fire. I've seen guys do this where they're having a good interaction with a girl and they decide like the girl really likes them, and in order to show they're not needy, in order to get the girl to chase, she's like, you know what, go talk to whatever guy you want. I'll even introduce you. Pick a guy, I'll introduce you. And they like this because 8 times out of 10, the girl's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm shy. I don't whatever. Right? And that brings that attachment closer to the guy, and it shows that she likes him and it gets that commitment.
When are they doing that?
Like on the initial meeting, like in a nightclub, guy's doing well with a girl's pretty attached, and the guy's being a little bit cocky, and they're like, you know what, go, you want to talk to someone else, you can. And in fact, you know what, pick someone, I'll go introduce you, right? And they're going very far with this dismissiveness frame. And again, guys do this
They're initiating that?
Yeah, I've seen guys do this, right? And the funny thing is it can work sometimes, right? But then what happens the time the girl goes, okay, fine, fuck it, I will, right? And then you're in a bad situation now because she's gonna go talk to some other guy and he didn't approach her, she approached him. And so if she happens to pick a guy who actually has some game, he's now in an advantageous position relative to you because he's completely needy and didn't have to approach. And I've seen guys take girls that are so into them and have, also the other thing that's happening is all the chemicals of being attracted are flowing in her body right when she goes and approaches him. I've seen guys lose girls so badly and so stupidly by doing that, okay? And it's like, I cannot believe guys do this, but they do. And the reason they do it is because it has worked in other contexts, like it worked to get her more attached, but it's fucking stupid, right? When you are in that direct competition scenario, whether it's because some guy came in or whether it's because she was with him first or whatever, the primary currency in that scenario is attention. Whoever has her attention is winning, right? And so what you want to do in that scenario is you want to be highly, highly engaging. You want to have her attention. You want to have her locked in and paying attention to you. And you want that other guy like feeling awful, feeling like he's a beta male and contemplating like all the things he did wrong in his life to end up there. You want him to start getting very, very in his head, and you want him to like almost like quit to avoid the embarrassment. Like you want him to give up. You want him to feel hopeless. But then the other thing you want to do is you just want to leave the situation, right? Again, if you're the one who leaves with her, you win, right? And so when you do have that attention, hey, let's go grab a drink. We're going over here. And now he has to choose to follow you or not. A lot of guys won't follow. A lot of guys, oh shit, that's needy. Oh, I'm not going to do that. And then that's where they break it and they don't follow you, right? You want to find that way to get them away, okay? I even had a situation, this is a long time ago. I had a situation where I saw these 2 girls in a bar going very, very well, basically pulling, but then there was a guy there who he worked for the bar in some capacity. I don't know if he was like actually a bar staff or like a promoter or something like that, but she knew him and had like had a crush on him, and he had helped them get into this place. Like it was a 21 and up place, and she was like college 19 or something like that. And so he was like her connection to getting to the bar, and also a cute guy with game and also attached to the bar, so a lot of value there. And so everything was going well. I thought I was pulling this girl, but then she and her friends see this guy, and they go and they're all flirty with him and whatnot, right? And then what I eventually did in order to pull these girls was I talked to them very hard, got their attention, had it very much on me. And then in a flirty moment, I literally just picked the girl up and walked off with her, knowing that the guy had to stay in the radius of the bar somehow and couldn't follow. So this goes to your question and his question. No. In general, no. you try and be active, and you try and like own the situation whenever you can, all right? Every single time new friends enter the conversation, it's now a new set. It's a new open, right? So if I'm talking to these two and you four come in, right? I've opened you two, I haven't opened you four. So if we go to like, stages of the system or stages of game, open, premise, evaluate, narrative, close. I'll go through those if you guys don't know what they are. But say you've gotten through the open, you've established a man to woman premise, you're busy evaluating the girl and qualifying the girl with the girls you've opened. 4 more girls come in. Do you know what stage you're at? You're at the open. You were in evaluation a second ago, and you're in evaluation with these girls. You're at the open with these girls because they haven't been opened yet. You have to open them, get them in, bring them up to speed, etc. Or find out what the relationship is and at least acknowledge them and have them acknowledging your right to talk to their friends.
What if it's dudes?
Huh?
Same shit if it's dudes?
Dudes are interesting because knowing the relationship and knowing who they are matters. And we get into deep problem solving. So for example, if I'm smart, as soon as it's going well over here, one of the questions I'm going to ask, hey, who are you guys here with? Is it just the two of you tonight, or are you with a big group? And now I know what scenarios I'm dealing with. And sometimes I'll proactively go find the friends with them. Not often, but I will sometimes if that's absolutely necessary. Or if it's some dudes or whatever, maybe I'll wave at them and like I've said some whatever, so I've engaged with them in some degree. Or I'll ask like, oh, how do you know the dudes? And they're just friends and this and that and the other, right? And then if I know that, I will ask the dude blatantly in front of them, how do you know each other, right? And then they have to admit that they're not together, for example. Or sometimes they lie and I'm like, really? That's an interesting story, right? You just said, okay, that's cool. Good story, right? And you have the upper hand because you have the knowledge, right? But you want to be proactive with all these things. There's kind of a threshold where I know the girl likes me. There's a threshold where like I know that if me and this girl are alone at the end of the night, things are good. Probably before that moment, but definitely by that moment, my biggest concern is figuring out logistics. My biggest concern is what is the problem solving, what's going down, who's she with, and what are the possible pathways to getting there, right? And I basically look at it this way. Like I have a lot of experience at this point, but I'm like, this is where we're at. This is one pathway. This is another pathway. This is another pathway. This is another pathway. These are all the things I've seen work before. And so I'm like, I'm here. This is the simplest, most reliable, the one that I've done the most and with the most highest success rate. I'm going to start doing this. If at some point that doesn't work, okay, well, now I'm here. I'm going to start doing this. If that doesn't work, I'm going to start doing this, right? And I'm going to just go with whatever the most likely scenario is. And then when I end up here, where there's nothing that has ever worked before, I'm going to maybe try something creative if I can. If I can think of something creative, or if I've heard a story of someone making something work or whatever, I'll try that. And then if I literally am at my wit's end, then I take a phone number, walk away, something like that, right? But I'm going to try all the different things that I think could work before I settle or quit or give up, right? Again, this is all assuming you really like the girl and it's worth your time. There is also the time efficiency, whatever, right? But if you're talking about just specifically the right way to handle this one situation with this one girl, that's what you do. Problem solve it until you can't. But you do want to be proactive. Throughout all of game, the more you are the leader in the scenario, it's never going to hurt you. It's never going to hurt you to be the leader in the scenario, right? You can plenty of times get led. Plenty of times the girls can just choose you follow them around all night and it works. But you'd be much better off if you were a leader, or at least if you had the capacity to lead. Like if you've led enough that when things get weird, you could take over the lead and it wouldn't be a problem, right? So the more you can stay active, the more you can be a leader, the more that's going to work in your favor.